Okay, I want everyone to turn to page 7 on your note packet. I know one of the page on the packet is missing, but still go to the page where it says page 7, all right? So today we're going to learn new way of factoring. So let's take a look at the factoring flowchart that I gave out to you guys a few classes ago. So if you look at that, as I told you, you always need to check for GCF factor first. So if you don't see any GCF, you keep going. But if you do see GCF, you take out GCF. Now, if number 2, it says if it's a polynomial with 4 terms, then break them up and you use grouping. Okay? Grouping is where you use 2 letters and then just make common binomial factor. Today what we're going to learn about is we're going to say number 3, is it a trinomial? What does trinomial mean here? Trinomial is ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? If the trinomial is given and it looks like ax squared plus bx plus c, then we are going to look at the leading coefficient. What is leading coefficient? Leading coefficient is the coefficient for x to the second power. If the leading coefficient is 1, then we're going to just use x. Remember we did some practice of x last class? If it's not 1, we're going to multiply a and c, then make x and use grouping. Does this sound familiar to you? Grouping sound familiar to you? Does x sound familiar to you? So we're going to use that information today to factor trinomial. Okay? So let's take a look at this. Let's go back to the note packet. Okay, if you take a look at the example A, 3x squared plus 5x plus 2. So first thing that we check for is greatest common factor. Do we have any greatest common factor? 3, 5, and 2? No. Now number 2, it says we need to check for grouping. Can we do grouping when we have 3 terms? No. So if you look at the next step, it says we need to look at the trinomial. And this is a trinomial, so we're going to use x. Okay, so we're going to use x. And then we need to come up with the top number and then bottom number. What should be the top number? We multiply a and c, which is 3 times 2, which is 6. Okay, so when you multiply a and c, we put it on the top. Okay, and then b, the number 5, will go to the bottom. So if you want to think about it, when you create x, we multiply a and c on the top, and b goes on the bottom. Alright. Once you're done, you guys remember the rule. We are trying to find the 2 numbers that multiply to 6 that are added up to 5. What are factors of 6 that are adding up to 5? Factors of 6 can be 1 and 6. Do they add up to 5? No. What else is the factors of 6 that are adding up to 5? 2 and then 3. Do you guys see that? Okay, I'm going to slow down. So factor of 6 is 2 and 3, and they are adding up to 5. Okay, once I do that, I use these 2 numbers, 2 and 3. I'm going to go back right here. As you guys know, 5x is made up of 2 plus 3x. Is that right? So instead of writing 5x, can I just write 2x and then positive 3x, because they're both positive. Positive 2x, positive 3x. And do they add up to 5x? Correct? So in other way to write 5x is 2x plus 3x. Correct? Once we are done, we're going to bring down the first term, which is 3x squared. And then we're going to bring down the last term, which is plus 2. Okay, now what do you see, guys? Now how many terms do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4. When we see 4 terms, what way of factoring can I use? We can use grouping. So now I'm going to use grouping. Remember, I always want to carry the sign together. What is a common factor between 3x squared and 2x? That's correct. X is the common factor. Then I'm going to pull out x. I'm going to divide 3x squared by x, which is 3x. I'm going to divide 2x divided by x, which is 2. Got it? Now, between 3x and 2, what is the common factor? Do you guys remember when they do not have common factor, what can be the common factor? They always factor out of 1. Okay? So 3x divided by 1 is 3x. 2 divided by 1 is 2. Now, what do you see, guys? Now we see common binomial. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just bring down 3x plus 2. And then what's left over? As you see right here, you were left with x and positive 1. How do I write that? X plus 1. Then these are the two binomial factors we got. Is it okay? Excellent. All right. Let's move on to the next question. All right. So let's start from the beginning. Let's take a look at it. Do we have any greatest common factor? 2, 21, 11. No. Number 2, it says, can we use grouping? When we have 3 terms, we cannot use grouping. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use X method. So you guys remember what goes on the top of the my X? We multiply 2 and negative 11. That's going to be negative 22. What goes on the bottom of this X? Positive 21. Because we always put the middle number at the bottom. Now we need to think of factors of 22 that are adding up to 21. Okay, if you really look at this, guys, the easiest factor is 1 and 22. But since it's a negative number, one of them should be negative, right? So which can be negative to make it 21? Negative 1 and 22. Do they add up to 21? Excellent. So what we can do is negative 1 and 22. Now, once you can come up with like x in the numbers, this is really piece of cake. So if you look at it, we get negative 1 and 22. So if you look at this 21, can I rewrite that into negative 1x plus 22x? Does that make sense to you? Because negative 1x plus 22 is same as 21x. Correct? Then what do I need to bring down? I need to bring down the rest of them. Minus 11. Bring down 2x squared. Now, finally, we have 4 terms, so we can use grouping. Okay, what is the greatest common factor of 2x squared minus 1x? That will be x. What is the greatest common factor? So it's going to be 2x minus 1. Easy. Now, what will be the common factor between 22 and 11? 11. Okay, so 22 divided by 11 is 2x. 11 divided by 11 is minus 1. You see the matching binomial? That's what I'm looking for. Once I'm done, I'm just going to put 2x minus 1. And then what's left over? As you see, x and positive 11. X plus 11 will be my answer. It's really not bad, right? Okay, let's try one more. Okay, let's skip C. Let's move on to D. So first thing that we need to check is GCF. 6, 9, 27. Oh, this time we do have greatest common factor. What is the greatest common factor of 6, 9, and 27? Correct. it is 3. So I'm going to factor out of the greatest common factor. I like to kind of make a, sun or whatever that is, so that it kind of stands out. And all you have left is 2x squared plus 3x minus 9. Okay, now we still have trinomial, so we have to use box method, the x box. Okay, so x. What goes on the top of this x? We're not using 6 and 27 since we already factored it out, so we're using 2 and negative 9. What's 2 times negative 9? Negative 18. Then what goes on the bottom of the x? Positive 3. Does that make sense to you? Now, once you have that, negative 18, okay, we need to find two numbers that are multiplying to negative 18, add up to 3. So what are factors of negative 18? Let's try easy one. 1, 18. Are they even close? Negative, since its product is negative, one of them should be negative. It's not even close. Negative 1 plus 18 is not 3. 2 and 9? Negative 2 plus 9 is not 3, so it's not going to work. What's the next factor? 3 times 6. One of them should be negative. Oh, that's very close. 3 and 6. Which one should be negative to make it positive 3? It should be negative 3. Do you guys see that? So then once you have that, it's going to be negative 3, positive 6. Okay, so once you got that, I'm going to bring down 3x into negative 3x, positive 6x. You can double check. Do they add up to 3x? Perfect. 2x squared minus 9. Then we're going to use grouping. Okay, we're going to factor out of x. We're going to factor out of 3. Matching, so it's going to be 2x minus 3, x plus 3, and then we should not forget about this 3. Okay, I want everyone to try the rest of the problems by yourself and check to see if you get it right. Okay, now you can pause the video. Okay, check your answers, and if you have any question, you bring it to class. All right, have a good day.